Hey, Joy Rachel here, and today I just wanted to talk about the spiritual wealth, spiritual connection that is possible for you in your life as I am a living, breathing example, embodiment of what is possible when we deepen our spiritual connection with ourselves and with our spirit team, and when we really work on up leveling our gifts and our abilities and fine tuning them and listening to our spirit team and our higher self and not listening to like random people that have opinions about what it is that you do. And so you may have heard me talk before about about Enchantments by Joy frequency encoded technology. But this is a message that I'm getting that I need to broadcast more and more so that it really digs in. And if you've listened to this before, then listen to it again, or don't. If you're new, that's who I'm talking to. As I developed Enchantments by Joy frequency encoded technology using my spiritual connections, trusting what I was receiving, and then moving forward in that direction. And so the elements of my Enchantments by Joy frequency encoded technology is unique to me, in a sense that this is part of my unique genius and what I have access to. They're not saying that, like, the concept may seem like it's simple, but it's not. So I'm just going to give you like a simple rundown of what it is. It's me doing my inner earth enchantments, which is my vocal technology that sounds like this audibly. Sounds in variations of that audibly when I do it. And it's a combination of this technology that I have access to, divine downloads of coding. Think about coding coding that's in a computer, that's running your computer right now. I do coding work that's channeled down through me. And I also have connections with galactic star beings who are specifically here to help me bring this technology down onto the planet to help humans on this planet, but it will also help Earth in her ascension and help humans as we ascend and evolve more and more. But if it wasn't for my deepening my own connection with my inner earth mentors, with figuring out, taking the time, doing the work, researching through channeling what it is specifically, how my vocal technology works, because it can work different for everybody, right? Like the specifics of what it does if you have vocal technology, spiritual vocal technology is, and when this concept came to me for Enchantments by Joy frequency encoded technology, I like to say that it was beamed down, is if I didn't have this deep connection, this and knowing and confidence and belief in my abilities, in what it is I'm receiving, in who it is that I am contacting, and in being able to receive more information from them in channeling or an ability that I have been calling the Stargate portal, but it's something like different. It's like that, but it's completely different than that. It's something specific that I do to gather information and to travel the universe. If I didn't have any of those things, then I wouldn't have pursued developing Enchantments by Joy frequency encoded technology, and I wouldn't be impacting the people who have already signed up for its lives right now, which a lot of them are spiritual entrepreneurs or wanting to be spiritual entrepreneurs, but were like boggled down by like chronic pain, like having pain like in their physical body like all the time, and being like run by their empathic, highly sensitive like abilities of being overrun emotion that they were needing down through you in an unconscious level, and also like helping people lose weight and be more productive, and also being able to magnetize the right clientele to you. Is if I had not worked on my connection to have this confidence and belief in myself, and had mentors who helped me get this idea out and to get it out into the public, then I wouldn't be impacting those people's lives right now, right? I would just be like sitting here going, no, like I can't do that. That's just a figment of my imagination. That's just some idea that got beamed down to me, and like, I don't know what the heck it is. And so I just wanted to touch on that today about the Enchantments by Joy frequency encoded technology, but I also wanted to tap in on becoming the channel for AriKala has transmitted in the AriKala in the cosmos has transmitted by Joy Rochelle. That's what we're calling it. I'm channeling information from her, and sometimes I'm transmitting it. Like, I hear her voice and I'm just like typing it. It's gonna evolve as we integrate some more. But so when it first came in, literally like a day after she passed, when I was channeling her, it came in that she wanted me to become the channel for her. And I was kind of like, no, like what the fuck? And I'll go into that more probably in a different video. But after she passed away on July 7th, 2020, I felt her with me, and I could hear her thoughts. So I can hear her like clairaudiently or telepathically, however you want to say that. And I see her constantly through my mind's eye. And so, especially like in the couple of weeks after she passed, it was really strong. Like she was there all the time. And like I was like driving to town one day to get groceries, and like she's riding in the car in the seat beside me, and her daughter likes to travel. So she had traveled and she was sitting on Ari's lap, and we were like talking. We have like these head conversations, right? Of us talking and us laughing and me looking at her and her looking at me type of a thing. So I bring this story up because if I hadn't have had a mentor who helped me groom my psychic abilities, helped me know help me have confidence in and the belief in the information that I was receiving through my psychic abilities, if I hadn't have had any of that, I would have thought I was going batshit crazy, right? And it's like, if I were to tell this story to, let's say, Western doctor, they would probably be like, wow, like this girl's crazy, like we got to put her in the psych ward because she's like seeing things and having conversations in her head of these descriptions things, right? But I can be grounded. Instead, I can be grounded and confident in what it is that I am receiving through all of my psychic senses, all of my psychic resources on a day-to-day basis. And have this deep knowing and belief that I am not crazy and that my experiences are real and that my psychic resources are like so sharp and like so on point and like, hey, pat myself on the back for my use of my psychic resources, but also giving like thanks and gratitude for these gifts that I have, right? Because if I didn't have those gifts, I wouldn't have this connection and these experiences that I have been having with her, right? And I wouldn't have had it in such a way that that's like empowering and no experience and may hear the story and be like, whoa, what the fuck? Oh my god, I don't want that to happen to me type of a thing. Like, that doesn't affect me anymore, right? Like, I could get trolls on this video, but are like, oh, like maybe you're like crazy or whatever. And instead of that affecting me in a negative way and having those thoughts come in that are like, oh, well, maybe they're right. Like, oh my god. Ooh, or like having it kind of like play tug of war in my mind that goes, no, but my experiences are real, but all these people are commenting like all this bad stuff and saying that like I should go to a doctor and I'm crazy, I should be here in this psych ward or whatever, right? Unfazed. I'm unfazed by that. I don't care. You comment on that all you want. The only person that it's you putting out, if you're a commenter like that, then you're just putting out that energy. You're just expelling wasted energy, basically, because it's not going to affect me. I have up-leveled and quantum leaped so much in the last 3 weeks that I'm impenetrable, which is actually ironic, because in the rich psychic goddess cat, in the rich psychic goddess formula for quantum leaping, that is the place that like I was in when I was in the videos, and that's basically like what I've experienced so many times over the last 3 weeks, is going through the rich psychic goddess formula of quantum leaping like hundreds or if not thousands of times. Obviously quantum levels is why it's called quantum leaping, but being able to shift through them like so fast. It's like I'm in one element, then I'm in the next element. I'm in one element, I'm in the next element. It's like maybe I could take a screenshot and put it in the bottom, but it's a pentagram, it's a star, and then there's a circle, and then there are the 5 elements. And you don't have to go through that quantum leap process in a circle. You can go, hey, impenetrable impenetrable spellbinder. Oh, now I'm the divine sorceress. Oh, now I'm a grounded visionary. Oh, now I'm impenetrable spell, impenetrable spellbinder again. I'm divine sorceress again, and grounded visionary, and oh my goodness, I'm like totally drawing a blank on the other two. Anyways, yeah, you can go through the process up and down. It doesn't have to go through this way, but it's been so many. And yeah, we just really wanted to share this message to let you know what is possible for you when you have these deep spiritual connections. You have this spiritual wealth within yourself, but you also have like the confidence and the beliefs attached to it as well, right? Because I could have the really strong spiritual connections, but if I didn't have the beliefs behind what, like the beliefs that are like, I trust my knowing, I trust my clear seeing, and like beliefs like that, then it would just be like, they would just be experiences that are happening to me, but I'm not confident, and I'm like, not confident in what it is that I'm receiving, and I don't have the belief attached to it that I'm receiving that, which happens to a lot of people, especially when they're developing their psychic abilities and when they're working with people who don't specifically actually know what it is you're going through, what it is that you actually need to get to these levels, right? To be able to be this strong brick wall that's impenetrable to all the naysayers, to all the naysayers and the negativity that kind of creeps up. And even sometimes like when your ego creeps up, it's like, nope, this is an impenetrable wall. This is a belief I have, and I know this is true because of all these experiences that I have had. And even though technically, like, some of these experiences, people would be like, well, they're intangible. Yeah, they are intangible, but that doesn't make it not real and not my reality. And they're all things that I am creating that are intangible, and I'm creating them into tangible outcomes, tangible uses. And so, yeah, the next time people tell you that, you know, like, don't waste your money by like developing your psychic resources, your psychic abilities, your connections with your spirit team, then just ignore it. Like, your soul is guiding you towards these directions because it's something that it's craving. It's something that you're needing for your soul purpose mission to fulfill it. A couple weeks ago, I talked to somebody who was really wanting to like develop her psychic abilities, but it's kind of like, you know, I've been burned before. Like, can you guarantee my results? And like all of these things. But there were elements missing to the other programs and stuff that she had been in before and the people that she was working with, right? And so we can't allow bad experiences to shut us off from never investing in ourselves ever again. Because if I had done that last year, after I had 2019 was a shit year. It was a year of me really finding my voice and really standing up and being my own authority and having validation for myself. And it was a constant tug of war of what coaches and mentors and other people and that are higher than me, that I deemed higher than me, were telling me to do and not to do. And when the opportunity came to work with Ari, I could have allowed that to be like, oh no, like she's just another coach that wants my money. And I could have chosen not to invest in myself, and I wouldn't be here today doing this. I wouldn't have developed Enchantments by Joy. And yeah, I wouldn't be putting out my work that is to create change on a global scale and a universal scale out into the world. I wouldn't have started yet. Like, I would have still probably been fighting tooth or nail with other coaches and programs on following my own inner knowing instead of following someone else's blueprint or someone else's expertise on what it is that I should do. Instead, I deepened my spiritual connection. I created containers for my psychic abilities and gifts, and I created quantum entanglement connections with my spirit team that I work with. And I became my own investigator by not perfecting, but like continually channeling information to receive more information about certain gifts and abilities and ideas and things that would pop in. I became my own researcher instead of relying on Google or relying on someone else. Like, hey, I had this experience. What do you think? This came up. Like, what do you think that means? Right? Or like every time like something comes up, you're like Googling the meaning of it, right? And you're kind of like, oh, okay, that's what that means. And then you're kind of like, well, I thought it, like my dream actually meant something else. It's like, well, maybe it actually meant what you thought it meant because it's information that you received and not the information that's just like out there for like the general collective public. That's like old and it's not like resonating with you or whatever, right? It's building the connections. It's really about just finding a mentor like me who can help you excel, go from here to here, and who's going to help you connect with an inner earth mentor, a galactic star being mentor, help you strengthen your psychic abilities, help you figure out what ones are your strongest, help you figure out what spiritual technologies you have to use in your soul purpose mission, reconnect you deeply into your soul purpose mission and knowing, so that every time you think you're having a shit day or you haven't had any clients in a week or months or whatever, that you can come back to and be like, okay, but this is my bigger purpose. So like, I can't give up type of a thing, right? And it becomes easier and easier to break yourself out of those cycles when you have a mentor to help you do that. So if you'd like to come work with me, then you can check out my website, www.joyrachel.com, or DM me and let me know that you're wanting to work with me and in what type of capacity. I do get a lot of messages, and sometimes they're just like, hi. If you just say hi, I might not just respond to you, because to be honest, a lot of like kind of like spammy type of people just comment, just like write hi and like hey and like how are you, like all the time. And so like I kind of like, I don't prioritize those messages, especially in a DM or a private message, right? I like people to let me know. It's like setting an intention. I want to know why you're contacting me. So if you send me an email, it's like, include a subject and additional information in it, because even though I'm psychic, I don't like to use my psychic resources on figuring out what someone's wanting from me or trying to figure out a conversation, because that's kind of a waste of my psychic resources and psychic abilities, where I could be dedicating that energy into client work and into content creation and, using it for those things versus like mediocre type things that's like, hey, like, what's under this cup? I really don't care what's under the cup, and I don't need to practice that, so I'm not going to play that game with you. Yeah, I am looking at working with people who are really wanting to deepen their spiritual connections, spiritually advance themselves, and who are ready and willing to invest in themselves because the earth is ascending, we're all ascending, we need your magic now, and I am here to work with the people who see that vision for themselves and who are willing to do the hard things sometimes of investing in yourself, even though sometimes it can be scary. And it does have rewards. Trust me, it does. And yeah, with that, I will sign off. I have to go to the dentist now, and I love you guys. And I hope your takeaways from this were good, that, like, yeah, spiritual connection, confidence, belief, and finding a mentor who really works with you and who is like at this higher level, who's not like at a level that's like the same as you, but they're pretending to not be. Like they're pretending that they're higher than you. Because that's just kind of like a recipe for disaster, because you're not going to grow in working with somebody who's at the same level as you. It's like both of you are at grade 12. Well, if you're both at grade 12, what are you supposed to learn from the other person who's in grade 12? Or grade 11, grade 12, right? Like you're wanting like the college professor, the person with the PhD to help you do the work, and who's already kind of been there on the same journey as you. And with that, I will let you go because my fan is on my computer again, and I don't